Hi, this is Will Ryan, the voice of the Harold Seahorse in The Little Mermaid. Presenting TV Confidential.
Robertson with enough time to tell you that Sesame Street 50 Years and Counting is now available both as a 2-disc DVD set and as a digital download from Shout Kids and Sesame Workshop, just in time to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the premiere of Sesame Street in November 1969. Sesame Street 50 Years and Counting is a 5.5-hour compilation of songs, celebrity appearances, new and classic segments with the Sesame Street Muppets, never-before-seen outtakes, and a whole lot more. Sesame Street 50 Years and Counting, available now both on DVD and as a digital download through Shout Kids, Sesame Workshop, and our friends at Shout Factory. And speaking of people in the neighborhood, we will play part 2 of our conversation with Jeff Abraham later on this hour. Jeff is the co-author, along with Bert Kearns, of The Show Won't Go On. The Show Won't Go On, the most shocking, bizarre, and historic deaths of performers on stage. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we are happy to bring you right now part 2 of our conversation with the one and only Ruta Lee. Ruta Lee is Hollywood in every sense of the word, not only because she continues to leave her mark on stage, film, and television, but because she has dedicated much of her life as chairman or president of the Thalians. The Thalians, the charitable organization that Ruta co-founded with her dear friend Debbie Reynolds, that is committed to good mental health from pediatric to geriatric. Ruta Lee is also working on her memoirs as we speak. If all goes well, that book will come out sometime in 2020. We will ask Ruta about that and more in just a sec. But first, as we record this conversation, it was the day after a wonderful event held at the Hollywood Museum honoring Ruta's dear friend Don Wells and the legacy of Gilligan's Island. And I didn't know this. You were considered for Ginger.
I was considered, but obviously my boobettes weren't big enough. I thought I looked great in a dress, wonderful Nolan Miller, who did Dynasty and everything for years on television, had done a beautiful black beaded dress that was clingy and divine, and I had all of a 19-inch waist. And I thought I looked pretty terrific, but obviously somebody thought that Ginger needed larger accoutrement than I had.
But, it would have been fun had you gotten that part. But I think you would agree with me on this, Ruta. Had you done Gilligan, that would have prevented you from some of the other things that you were able to do during that time, such as, if I remember correctly, you did a number of Lucy shows during that time and
yes,
a number of other shows. So it's all relative when you think about it.
It is, and, God works in mysterious ways. And I think that in the long run, while I have never reached what we all would like to have, which is superstardom.
Oh, you're a superstar, Ruta.
Oh, thank you for saying so. But I just feel like I've had a wonderful shot at life. I've had a good working career for, 60 years, for heaven's sake, 70 years. And I can't complain. I'm so happy. And, here's something I'd like to share with you and all your friends. My most lucrative process in show business was being a guest star and host on Home Shopping Network.
Yeah, and that's a different set of challenges because you're not playing a character, you're being Ruta.
You bet. And, I've got to tell you, I appreciate the game and talk shows on television more than I can say. And the reason being is that people got to know me not as the young bride or the young horsewoman in a Western or a hooker with a heart of gold and teeth to match. I was introduced to America as Ruta Lee, and people got to know me and hopefully like me that way and invite me back all the time. And I love the talk and game shows for just that reason.
About a year ago, you were at another Hollywood Museum event that honored your friend Rich Little. One of the funny things you said that night, you told a story about Dean Martin when you worked on, I think, Sergeant's 3, and he had a nickname for you.
Yes, he called me Loudy. He said, and I love this line, he said, God didn't give Ruta a pair of breasts. He gave her a set of speakers. that heaven? But you know what a joy it was to work with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my Lord. Dean Martin, I have to tell you, my friend, was, in my mind, the funniest man God put on this earth. He was not a stand-up comic, but he could have been.
Yeah.
Because he just innately had a wild sense of humor that saw mystical, magical laughter in everything that he looked at or touched.
Well, he kind of did that with his variety show, where, again, he was being Dean.
I mean, wasn't that amazing that he never rehearsed? He just came in and did the show?
Well, what's really amazing is, as I was told, he was in a position where he didn't really want to do the show, and he can afford to say no. And I've been told that he gave the network a number of outrageous demands, including, I will only do this on Sunday, and I don't have to rehearse if I don't want to. And they said yes. And when you watch that show today, that's kind of the cool thing about the show, is that he's just doing this off the cuff, and he makes you feel like you're in a club that only he...
Exactly. You're at a private party.
Absolutely. It's so fun. Let's see. We have an email question from one of our listeners, Ruta.
Uh-huh.
This is from David, listening to us in Plant City, Florida. David writes, Ruta, according to your IMDb page, you guest starred in two of my favorite shows growing up, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and Benson. Do you have any memories of working on those shows? And particularly, do you have memories of working with Jim Nabors on Gomer Pyle and Robert Guillaume on Benson?
Well, needless to say, Robert Guillaume was a lovely, talented man, and I loved the part I played. I was playing a mentalist, a Hungarian gypsy who would talk like this, and it was wonderful. I loved it, and the beautiful leading lady, I can't think of her name now, but she was on Broadway, starred in 110 in the Shade.
Inga Swenson.
But Jim Nabor, well, he became a very, very good friend of mine. And I last saw him in Hawaii when he took me and Debbie Reynolds to dinner at a favorite Chinese joint that he had in Hawaii. And we spent a couple of Christmases together, and I was crazy about him as a human being, along with being the wonderful talent that he is. And, of course, nobody ever realizes until they, or if they remember his variety show, which nobody remembers the way they did Gomer Pyle, that he was one hell of a good singer.
He certainly was.
Oh, my Lord. Just fabulous. And I prayed so hard for him. I'm sure the world did, when he was going through the whole business of a transplant, and he finally got it, and he lived so many more years. And so I thank God for his friendship, and I adored him. Had a great time working with him. And speaking of prayers for someone, everybody keep those prayers and cards and letters coming to Alex Trebek. He's going through a bad siege, but I somehow think that there's something very special about him, and he is so grateful for every prayer that has come his way.
And we are grateful that Ruta Lee has taken some time out of her busy schedule to talk to us and share a few stories about her career and her friends in television, movies, and stage, and her tireless work on behalf of our veterans through the Thalians, Thalians, Thalians.org. And we mentioned Ruta's upcoming book, Consider Your Ass Kissed, which, if all goes well, will be coming out in 2020. And I'm taking a leap, Ruta, but based on the conversation we've been having today and my prior conversations with you, I got the sense that Consider Your Ass Kissed, when people read your book, they will feel like they're entering a club that only few people belong to.
I hope so, because I have lots of tales to share, and they're not self-aggrandizement things. They're funny things that have happened to me, somewhat self-deprecating, but absolutely in awe of the people that I've worked with. And I don't think that at the time I was working with these people, I was quite as struck by who and what they are in the long run as I later and got wiser became, I have been so blessed. I mean, to think that I sat around with Jimmy Stewart, and Marlena Dietrich, and Shirley Jones and Shirley MacLaine, and all sorts of wonderful people, and they've all been a part of my life, which has made it an interesting road for me, and I'm kind of hoping to share it a little bit with the friends that I've made in this life. And speaking of making friends, will you kindly come up and either pat me on my ass or tap me on the shoulder? Hey, Toots, I'm your best buddy.
I will do that. May I ask you 2 more questions?
Sure, darling.
Okay. I'm a big David Janssen fan. And you did not only one of my favorite episodes of The Fugitive, you did one of the very best episodes of The Fugitive. It was a 2-parter you did with Eileen Heckert. Do you have any memories of working on The Fugitive? Do you have any memories of David Janssen that you're willing to share with our listeners tonight?
David Janssen was an adorable guy. He was just so cute and so sweet and very nice and wonderful to work with. Eileen Heckert was a joy to work with. Wally Grauman directed.
Mm-hmm.
He was tough.
Yes.
But he was also damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of the New York school,
Yeah.
and that wanted everything to be real, 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 real. And he, of course, became a longtime friend as well, and lived a very long time. I think he died just recently.
Not too long ago. Walter was small in stature, but big
in talent.
Big in talent, and his presence was known, but he was also very much an actor's director.
Yes, absolutely. So that was the main thing that I remembered. But, of course, David had been part of the Thalians in the early days of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Thalians was put together by a group of actors and people in allied fields like lawyers, agents, managers, publicists, but young people who got tired of being called pot-smoking, hard-drinking asses who had nothing to contribute,
Yeah.
and hence formed the Thalians, sold tickets to their little cutesy pie events. Pretty soon they became the big extravaganzas, in Hollywood, the best of all things, and built a mental health center, the first building that went in at Cedars-Sinai. And then, sadly enough, mental health was not a moneymaker for Cedars-Sinai. So they wanted the building, and we had to refocus our attention from pediatric to geriatric mental health, and refocused it very willingly onto the returning veterans, as I said. And their plight is so awful, to think that America's finest are willing to die for us, but we somehow can't get it together to take care of them when they return wounded and maimed, and maimed spiritually and mentally as well, So that's what Thalians is doing now, and that's why I'm hoping that anybody that is listening to us today who is thinking about some nice thing to do for somebody for Christmas or an anniversary or whatever, make a contribution in their name to the Thalians, and we will see to it that young people who are coming home from the wars are taken care of.
And you can make a contribution to the Thalians by going to Thalians.org, Thalians.org. Final question for now, because when your book, Consider Your Ass Kissed, Ruta, when your book comes out, I hope you'll join us again on TV Confidential. But last question for now. This goes back to one of the first things we talked about, because you mentioned Lucy. And I have to thank you for this. One of the first times you talked to me, you told me something about Lucy that I've always remembered, and which is that she mentored young actresses. She was not afraid, she was not threatened by young actresses. She reached out to them, she took them under her wings. Lucy did that for you, and I understand Gail Patrick did that for you.
Yes, absolutely. One of the great things about Lucy, she had an organization, and Carol Cook was in it, and she was like the young Lucy. Mm-hmm. A lot of young people were at the studio at Desi Lou when she was running everything. Not she, but Desi was, but she had a group that she sponsored that got together to work. But she, meaning Lucy, would brook no foolishness when she was working. Mm-hmm. She was a hard taskmaster. You could say, wow, she's a real bitch, when it comes to working on the set with her. But she knew people who were pros and knew what they were doing and admired them terrifically.
Yeah.
And she used me a lot, and I became, besides a good workmate, I became a good friend. We were very good personal friends. And little Lucy, her daughter, of course, became a good friend as well. And when Lucy died, her real name is Desiree, little Lucy's name.
Mm-hmm.
She gathered together a lot of scarves that her mother had used and gave them to me, and I thought, they're so precious to me. Every time I put one on, I think of Lucy with her hair tied up, that fabulous orange hair, and what love I have for that woman. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing a little of your love for Lucy and all of your friends in the entertainment industry and the people who have graced your life throughout your career, Ruta Lee. Ruta's book, Consider Your Ass Kiss, is coming. It will be released sometime in 2020. For updates on the book, to keep up with Ruta Lee, RutaLee.com, Twitter.com/the Ruta Lee, Facebook.com/Ruta-Lee. Ruta Lee, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to our next conversation.
Oh, my darling friend, I thank you so much for sharing your audience with me. May God bless you all, and above all, God bless America.
For more information on the Thalians, to make a donation to the Thalians, go to Thalians, THALIANS.org. While we're on the subject, our coverage of the ceremony honoring Don Wells and the legacy of Gilligan's Island at the Hollywood Museum, an event that featured Ruta Lee, Lloyd Schwartz, and other guest speakers. Our coverage of that event is available online for listening on demand at televisionconfidential.com, as well as iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, and wherever else you can listen to the TV Confidential podcast. The Hollywood Museum lobby exhibit honoring Don Wells and the legacy of Gilligan's Island is now open to the public and features the original gingham dress and blue short shorts that Don Wells wore as Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island, along with Bob Denver's original costume as Gilligan, plus an array of scripts and other memorabilia commemorating both the original Gilligan's Island series and its various reincarnations. For more information, thehollywoodmuseum.com. Jeff Abraham will join us when we come back on TV Confidential.
Buying or selling a home can be one of the most stressful things we'll ever do in life, but it doesn't have to be. And no one knows better than our friends at Front Porch Realty Group. They're a community of realtors serving the Northern Bay Area of California that cares about their clients as individuals first and foremost. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to lease or sell your property in the Bay Area, Front Porch Realty Group will help you through this important transition by providing you with the right information for your situation while lessening the pain. They also work with a network of realtors throughout California who provide the same high caliber of customer service. Call Front Porch Realty Group at 415-886-7411 for a realtor referral near you. You can also visit their website, frontporchrealtygroup.com, for more information on the services they provide, including upcoming workshops and seminars. For more information, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com. Front Porch Realty Group. They'll find the solution that works best for you.
Want a free first ride with Uber? Uber, the mobile app that connects you with a ride at the touch of a button in minutes. Enter promo code TV Confidential after you download the app to receive your first free ride up to $20. For more information, go to get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential.
Hey there, this is Wink Martindale, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Attention sports fans, now you can watch every football game you want all season long without leaving your home with Dish for about $50 a month. Compared to your cable bill, you can save almost $600 a year. Call right now and sign up for Dish and watch every football game you want. With Dish, there are no boxes to pay, plus get free installation as soon as tomorrow if you call now. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch your favorite sports and channels on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop. Be one of the first 100 orders right now and get a free voice remote. Don't miss a single football game all year long and save a ton of money. Get a free voice remote and free installation as soon as tomorrow. But you gotta call All American Dish right now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Miss the show? We have more than 500 hours of archived editions of TV Confidential available on demand as digital downloads. For more information, go to shop.tvconfidential.com.
tvconfidential.net.
This portion of TV Confidential is sponsored by The Misadventures of Biffle and Schuster, the hilarious side-splitting new DVD available through Kino Lorber.